The state's Outstanding Logger of the Year was announced on October 17th by the Mississippi Forestry Association. This year's winner is Kent Winstead Logging of Philadelphia. The Winstead operation embodies all of the attributes you would expect in a top-flight wood harvesting crew. For this feature story, we cross the state line into the edge of Sumter County, Alabama, where Winstead Logging was beginning a new job in September.
83 is when I graduated high school, and I've been out here every day since.
To say that logging is in Kent Winstead's blood would be an understatement. In 1978, as a teenager, he was already working part-time in the woods. That's Kent on the left in this photograph. His father, Jeff Winstead, is in the center, and Kent's brother, Terry, is on the right. Kent's father learned the profession from his dad, Horace Winstead, seen in this photograph from 1951.
Well, my grandfather logged, my great-grandfather logged some. He didn't log full-time, but he logged some. My dad helped both of them before he went in on his own. They logged with mules. I think my dad started out contract cutting. All he had was a chainsaw from my granddad. And they didn't have any, they skidded and loaded with mules. Of course, by the time I come along, they were done with that.
This photograph from 1948 shows the mules on a Winstead logging site in Mississippi. The mules' names were Joe and Bailey. The boy standing closest to the log truck is Kent's uncle, Charles Winstead. The logs were going to Malpa's sawmill in Philadelphia. The man on the right in the photograph is Kent's great-grandfather, Hugh Winstead. The boy on the right is Kent's father, Jeff Winstead. Fast forward to 2013, 65 years later, and Jeff Winstead can still be found on a job site some days, helping out his son Kent whenever and however he's needed.
He sold out to my brother-in-law and myself in June of 88. We stayed together till October of 90, and been on my own ever since.
Today, Kent Winstead Logging has 2 harvest crews, which usually operate together, and 4 company trucks. Altogether, there are 12 employees plus another 6 contract haulers. We're on a job that Kent began in September 2013 in the edge of Alabama, east of Porterville and Kemper County, Mississippi.
I'm cutting for Weyerhaeuser Company, and Weyerhaeuser bought this tract from University of South Alabama. It's a 285-acre tract. We got 4 patches on it that had never been thinned. I think they total about 70 acres of those 4 patches together. So it's a lot thicker on the ground.
During the last 2 years, 70% of the company's work has been for Weyerhaeuser. Long before any of this equipment arrived to begin the clear cut, Kent Winstead was here using aerial photographs, maps, and footwork to develop a forest management plan for this job. Then, as he usually does, Kent brought out his motor grader the week before harvest work began.
There were old roads here, but they were in pretty bad shape, so I got my dozer and motor grader over here a few days before the crew and started working on them and get them shaped up, ditches opened up, ruts filled up, whatever has to be done.
From the very beginning of each job, Kent's management plan always emphasizes the prevention of erosion, protecting water quality, and protecting soil quality on the site.
We water bar the roads, stabilize them, make sure we don't have any erosion. Skid trails, we slash them. If it's on bad hills, we water bar them and then slash them. Any stream crossing, we try to minimize crossings. This track, I'm not going to cross the stream zone at all. I'll come in from the other side to get the rest of it.
Landings are placed as far from any streamside management zone as possible. Soil quality is also protected by spreading slash on the entire track for natural fertilization. Soil compaction and rutting is minimized by the use of flotation tires on the equipment. These best management practices here and on every job by Winstead Logging emphasize Kent's definition of sustainable forestry and what it means to him.
Managing the forest for today's needs and the needs of future generations. Pretty much a tree today for a tree tomorrow.
The first priority for Kent Winstead during all operations is the safety of his crew. The company has a business safety plan that outlines the best practices to be followed by all employees. For example, everyone on a job site, including this visiting reporter, is required to wear personal protective equipment. Also, each equipment operator and truck driver follows what's known as the all-clear process when on the job.
They look and make sure that anybody's on the ground, they know where they are, make sure they're out of the way. And then the last step of the process is to blow the horn before they start movement.
There is also a policy about not walking within 10 feet of an operating piece of equipment, such as a feller buncher or skidder on the job site, before anyone on the ground enters the so-called 10-foot circle around such pieces of equipment. The engine must be turned off by the operator.
You know, before anybody can walk up, you have to kill the machine. Outside that 10-foot circle, you have to lower all your implements, make sure they know. But just to make sure, before you walk inside the 10-foot circle, you have to make sure they kill the engines.
Around the knuckle boom loaders, the rule is no one is to be on the ground within 2 tree lengths of the operating machine. Each piece of equipment owned by Winstead Logging has a radio so that operators can communicate with each other at all times. Kent only has one crew member who is routinely on the ground on a job site. That is the trim man, who goes around each departing load of wood to make sure there's nothing that will fall off on the highway. There are safety meetings each month in order for employees to receive alerts as well as reminders about best practices. The last lost time accident occurred in 2005 when a loader operator slipped off a trailer and sprained his ankle. The only other accident occurred in 1993. Winstead Logging's rolling stock includes 2 feller bunchers, each equipped with a saw head for clear cutting and thinning. There are 2 skidders, and there are 2 knuckle boom loaders, each with a delimber. As a professional logger, Kent's harvesting policy is to utilize all merchantable wood products in order to minimize waste. This includes top wood.
On this particular track, we're sorting at a 14-inch butt. The larger stuff goes to Warehouse in Philadelphia, the saw logs. Go to a 6-inch top. Most of the stuff at a 6-inch top, we'll get top wood out of it, double-deck top wood. So we drop it in the slasher saw out of the delimber and cut top wood out of it and double-deck it to Columbus for pulpwood. Then anything too small for chipping saw, you got below 14 inches, anything that'll go to Millport for chipping saw down to a 4-inch top goes there, and anything that's what little bit's left below that goes to Columbus for fiber.
With a strong emphasis on safety and dedication to the principles of the Sustainable Forestry Initiative, Kent Winstead Logging is a model for others in the industry to follow. In his hometown of Philadelphia, Mississippi, people are not surprised at the recognition Kent is now receiving.
Kent is a fourth generation logger, and he's well respected and has a very good work ethic. And one thing that really stands apart is one of his mottos is, if the job is worth doing, it's worth doing right the first time. And that kind of says a lot about his quality of work and the person that he is. So we're very proud of him here in Neshoba County.
Not only is Kent Winstead setting a good example for others in his industry, he is sending a good message for the logging community in Mississippi and other states. I'm Leighton Spann reporting. And you can watch this feature story on Kent Winstead Logging again at the Farmweek website, or on the Facebook page, or on the YouTube channel. And again, you can find us at farmweek.msucares.com. And again, Kent Winstead, a 4th generation logger. Not that unusual to see a 2nd or 3rd generation,
No.
but 4th generation really sets them apart.
And the motor grader on the site, the roads were really in excellent shape, and as a result you get less mud tracked onto the highway and such as that. So I think that's the first time we've seen one of those, but a good idea. I mean, it works. When we got there, he was shaping the roads up.